I froze the moment I opened the door. My family was laughing inside my mountain lodge, a place they didn't even know existed. But what made my blood boil wasn't just their presence. It was my sister Amber, standing by the fireplace, holding a glass of wine, telling everyone, "Welcome to my new lodge." The crowd clapped, and she smiled like a queen. Before I tell you what happened next, hit follow, share this story, and turn on the bell. Because trust me, you won't believe what came next. My heart pounded in my chest. I stayed hidden by the door, just watching. Every wall, every painting, every single detail of that lodge had been designed by me. I bought the land 3 years ago with the money I saved after my divorce. Every penny I earned working 2 jobs while my family laughed behind my back. I built this place from nothing, and now my sister was showing it off like it was her Christmas miracle. "Amber, this is unbelievable. How did you even afford this?" one of our aunts asked. Amber smirked and said, "Well, you know, some of us just work harder than others." The room burst into laughter. My mom even nodded proudly. That hit me like a knife. The same mother who called me a failure for working at a cafe was now praising Amber. The same sister who once maxed out my credit card and never apologized. I stepped back quietly, trying to breathe. Ethan, my business partner and closest friend, whispered, "Rayna, are you okay? Should we go?" I clenched my jaw. "No," I said coldly. "They want a Christmas surprise? Let's give them one." We walked inside. The laughter faded instantly. Everyone turned, jaws dropping. Amber's smile froze mid-sentence. "Rayna, what are you doing here?" she stammered. I walked past her, my heels clicking against the wooden floor. "Funny question," I said softly. "I should be asking you the same thing. How are you hosting Christmas in my lodge?" The silence that followed was deafening. My dad was the first to speak. "Wait, your lodge? Amber told us she bought it last month." Amber's face turned pale. She started fumbling with her words. I meant I helped Rayna buy it," she blurted out, forcing a laugh. But everyone could see the truth on my face. I turned to the family, my voice calm but sharp. "You all spent years mocking me. You said I'd never make it, never own anything, never be good enough. Well, surprise, I didn't just buy a cabin. I built an entire luxury resort chain under my own company, Silver Peak Getaways. And this lodge?" I paused, locking eyes with Amber. "It's my first property." Gasps filled the room. My mom's wine glass nearly slipped from her hand. Amber stood frozen, unable to speak. For the first time, the room that once laughed at me was completely silent. But just when I thought the humiliation was over, Ethan's phone buzzed. He frowned, checking the screen, then looked at me with confusion. "Rayna, you need to see this." He turned the phone toward me. It was a notification from our security app, a transfer request for the property ownership documents of the lodge. Someone had tried to move them under Amber's name, just 15 minutes before I arrived. Amber's eyes widened as I slowly looked back at her. "You didn't just lie, did you?" I whispered. "You tried to steal it." The room went dead silent again. Her hands started shaking. "Rayna, I can explain." But before she could finish, I said quietly, "No need. You already did." Amber's fake smile disappeared the moment I closed the door behind us. The sound of the party outside faded, leaving only the crackle of the fireplace between us. "So," I said, folding my arms, "you want to explain how my name almost disappeared from my own property?" Her lips trembled. "Rayna, it's not what you think." I laughed, the kind of laugh that comes from being betrayed too many times. "Really? Because it looks exactly like what I think." She started pacing. "I just needed a break, okay? Everyone sees you as this perfect success story. You left, you built a company, and suddenly Mom and Dad act like I'm invisible." I stared at her. "So you decided to steal from me?" She stopped walking and looked at me with tears in her eyes. "I just wanted them to see me the way they see you. I didn't mean for it to go this far." Before I could answer, there was a knock. Ethan stepped in quietly, holding a folder. "Rayna," he said in a low voice, "you need to look at this." He handed me a printed email chain from Amber's account. My heart sank as I read. It wasn't just Amber. There were messages between her, my mother, and a real estate broker. They'd been planning for months to transfer the lodge into Amber's name once I left for my business trip in Europe. My mom even wrote, "Rayna won't notice anything. She's too busy showing off her new company." I looked up slowly. "You dragged Mom into this?" Amber's voice cracked. "She said it was fine. She said you have more than enough." My chest tightened. The same family that once laughed when I had nothing, now wanted to steal what I worked for. I turned to Ethan, my voice steady. "How deep does this go?" He hesitated. "There's more," he said quietly. "Your company shares, 10% of them are under threat. Someone's been trying to file fake claims under your family's name, and guess who's behind it?" He handed me another sheet, a signature I recognized instantly. "Dad," Amber's tears stopped. She looked horrified. "Dad? No. He wouldn't—" I cut her off. "He would. He always said family comes first, as long as I was the one paying." I walked to the window, watching the snow fall outside, trying to keep my voice calm. "Amber, I could call the police right now. I could destroy you, Mom and Dad, in one move. But I won't. Not yet." She looked up, confused. "Then what do you want?" I turned back, my eyes sharp. "I want the truth. Who told you about this place before it was public? Someone fed you this plan." Amber swallowed hard, shaking her head. I don't know. It was just a call. A woman called me last month. She said if I hosted Christmas here, everything would fall into place. She even gave me access codes to the property system. My blood ran cold. "A woman?" I asked. "Did she give her name?" Amber shook her head. "No, but she said she worked with Silver Peak Investments, your company's branch in New York." Ethan and I exchanged a glance. That branch was private. Access was limited to me and one other person. And that person was someone I trusted completely. "Ethan," I said quietly, "get me every login record from that branch. I want to know who's been watching me." Amber whispered, "Rayna, what's going on?" I looked at her and said coldly, "You started this mess, but whoever's behind it, they're not done yet. And now neither am I." Ethan and I spent the entire night digging through the files from the New York branch. Every login, every transaction, every digital footprint was right there, and one of them stood out like blood on snow. It wasn't just an employee login. It was mine. Someone had been using my personal ID to access sensitive company data for weeks. "That's impossible," I whispered, staring at the screen. Ethan frowned. "It's not just your account. Whoever this is, they cloned your digital signature and even used your old security phrase." My throat went dry. That phrase was something only one person ever knew. Lena, my former assistant. She had worked for me for 5 years, knew my passwords, my habits, even the way I signed documents. I fired her 6 months ago after catching her leaking minor data to a rival travel firm, but I never pressed charges. I just wanted her gone. And now it seemed that mercy had turned into my biggest mistake. "Ethan," I said slowly, "get me her current address." He hesitated. "You sure about this, Rayna? It's Christmas Eve." I looked him dead in the eye. "Exactly. That's why she won't see me coming." By morning, the snow had turned into a thick white blanket. We drove through the winding roads to a small cabin on the edge of town. Lena's car was parked outside. She was home. My pulse quickened as I knocked on the door. After a pause, it creaked open, and she appeared, still as sharp-looking as ever, her lips curling into a mocking smile. "Rayna, what a surprise." I stepped in without asking. "Save it. I know what you've been doing." She tilted her head. "Do you?" Ethan set down his laptop, pulling up the digital trace report. "We tracked every file you accessed. You used Rayna's credentials to steal her property records and tried transferring her shares through shell accounts. You even called her sister pretending to be a company rep." Lena smirked, completely unfazed. "And yet here you are. Too late." She walked over to her desk, pulling out a stack of papers. "You think this is about the lodge?" "Oh no, Rayna, this was about revenge." I stared at her, my voice sharp. "Revenge for what?" "I paid you. I gave you everything you asked for. You fired me." She snapped, her eyes burning. "After 5 years of loyalty, you embarrassed me in front of everyone. You thought you could just erase me like I was nothing, so I erased you instead." My stomach turned. "You dragged my family into this?" She smiled. "They were easy. Your mother and sister wanted money. Your father wanted control. I just gave them a way to get it, while I took the rest. Ethan clenched his fists. You won't get away with this. Lena shrugged. I already have. The lodge, the shares, the brand, everything is in motion. By the time you try to stop me, it'll all be gone. I took a deep breath and leaned closer, my tone calm but cold. You think I didn't plan for betrayal? You really think I'd build an empire and not protect it? Her smirk faltered for the first time. I installed an invisible backup system years ago, I continued. Every document, every signature, every transfer goes through a biometric gate only I can override. You might have fooled my family, but you can't fool my company's DNA. Her face dropped. You're lying. I opened my phone, tapped a button, and watched her computer screen lock itself with a flashing red warning. Unauthorized breach detected. Files seized. Lena's jaw tightened. What did you do? I smiled. I just took back everything you stole. Before she could speak, 2 black SUVs pulled up outside, my company's legal security team. Ethan had already called them. You wanted to play games, Lena, I said softly, but you forgot one rule. I always finish what others start. As the agents entered and Lena was escorted out, she turned back with one last glare. You think you've won, Rayna? You have no idea what's coming next. Her words sent a chill down my spine. What does that mean? I demanded, but she only smirked as they dragged her out the door. Ethan looked at me uneasy. You think she's bluffing? I looked down at the folder she left behind. One page had slipped free. On it was a list of names, including mine, Ethan's, and one more I never expected to see. My father's business partner. The name on that paper burned through my chest like fire. Richard Hale. My father's best friend, his right-hand man, and the person who helped me legally structure my company 15 years ago. He was the one who set up my first business account, managed my initial investors, and told me he'd treat me like his own daughter. I felt my stomach twist as realization hit. He wasn't just helping my father. He was helping himself. Ethan leaned closer, reading the page. Rayna, these aren't just names. These are transfer records. Look, Richard received 12% of your company shares through your father's trust. I froze. That's impossible. My father doesn't even own any shares. Ethan pointed at the document. He does now. Someone forged your signature 6 months ago to approve a silent transfer. Lena might have triggered it, but this is Richard's doing. I could feel the blood rush to my face. For years, I thought I had built everything on my own. No family, no connections, no shortcuts. And now I was looking at the evidence that the people I trusted most had turned my empire into a weapon against me. Call our legal team, I said through clenched teeth. Now. Within an hour, we were on a video call with my head attorney, Grace. Her expression hardened as she read the scanned documents. Rayna, this isn't just fraud. It's an orchestrated takeover. They've been moving assets slowly for months, using shell corporations under your father's name. If you hadn't caught this tonight, you could have lost controlling ownership by the end of the quarter. I pressed my hand to my forehead, disbelief mixing with rage. So my own father and his business partner tried to steal my company? Grace nodded grimly. And they almost succeeded. But there's something worse. Ethan looked at her. Worse than this? She hesitated. Your father filed a legal claim 2 days ago, saying you built the company using his seed money, meaning he's demanding restitution for 15 years of unauthorized profits. I felt like the ground vanished under my feet. He's suing me? Grace's voice softened. Yes. And because of Lena's data leak, they have some internal emails that make it look like you admitted it. Ethan slammed his hand on the table. This is insane. He's her father, not her investor, Grace exhaled. Rayna, I've seen a lot of greed. But this is personal. He doesn't just want your money. He wants your legacy. For a long moment, I couldn't speak. My mind flashed back to Christmas mornings when he never showed up. To the empty birthdays. To the time he told me, you'll never survive without me. Maybe this was his way of proving he was right. But then a cold calm settled in. Grace, I said, my voice low. You said he filed a claim 2 days ago? Yes. Then I still have time to respond. Ethan frowned. Rayna, what are you thinking? I looked up, meeting his eyes. There was no hesitation anymore. If he wants a war over what I built, then I'll give him one he'll never forget. I turned to Grace. Prepare a counterclaim. We'll freeze all their assets connected to the company. I want full audits on every shell account Richard ever touched. And Grace, make sure the court date falls on Christmas Eve. Grace raised a brow. Christmas Eve? I nodded slowly, a small, bitter smile crossing my lips. If my family wants to celebrate without me this year, I'll give them something unforgettable to toast to. Outside, the snowstorm grew heavier, almost poetic. The world around me looked peaceful, calm, and silent. But inside, something fierce had awakened. Ethan stared at me. Rayna, are you sure you're ready for this? I smirked slightly. Ethan, I didn't survive 15 years alone just to lose now. It's time my family learns exactly who they're dealing with.